business here now.
That's just,
I'm going to go back to school.
That's only if the camera.
When I was here,
So that should be
when I went into
it's
the
on
sixth
video
form
now.
centre, the sixth form is where your library is now, and I was in, we had a thing called the sixth form social committee, and I was elected to the sixth form social committee, being one of the nice people that got on with everybody. I was quite outgoing, quite sort of gregarious sort of chap. And as a sixth former, we were given charge of what was a tuck shop over there, and it was loss making. There was no money in the bank, and there was about 8 or 10 of us on the sixth form social committee. And basically, we went to the school and we borrowed some money, and we then went to the cash and carry and we bought tea, coffee, crisps, sweets galore, and we turned this loss making tuck shop into having, in those days, this is in the early 80s, 1981, into having £300–400 in the bank. And we used that money in the sixth form to put on parties, because we were the social committee, and we put on fantastic parties, and I can go back to all my old school chums and they will swear how fantastic those parties were. If you're going to the sixth form, and hopefully you will, you're going to have some great times, okay? You're having good times now, but you're going to have some great times. So, bearing that in mind, I used to put on parties. I started out at a young age. Paella Fella, right, started as an accident. So, it started in 1995. My family goes camping every summer and has done ever since I was a little boy, age 4. And when I say camping, I'm talking about camping on the south coast here, not abroad. And when I talk about my family, I'm talking about my extended family. So it's not just me and my immediate family, it's my extended family, my mother, my father, my cousins, and everyone like that. And we were all camping there in the school summer holidays. And my brother came back from Spain and he said, I've got your birthday present. My birthday's at the end of September. This was in mid-August. He said, I've got your birthday present, would you like it? I said, I'd love it. Yes, please. He said, there's a condition if I give you your birthday present. I said, what's that? He says, I can't tell you, you've got to accept the condition. I said, all right then, I accept the condition. He went, bosh, there's a paella pan, there's a gas burner and a stand, and there's a piece of paper with a recipe on it, translated into English, in Spanish. Absolutely pidgin English, a horrible recipe it was. Could just about make out what it really meant. And he said, the condition is that you've got to cook paella for the family at the August bank holiday weekend, basically. And I said, condition accepted, all right? That was in 1995, okay? I put on a paella, cooked the paella for the family. That became an annual paella party each year. And we had a lot of parties. It went from about 10, 12 of us to 15 to 20 to 30 to 40. It became a massive extravaganza each bank holiday weekend, putting on lots of food, doing lots of paella and stuff like that. And we would party into the small hours, basically. The year that my brother gave me the paella pan was the year he was also diagnosed with having cancer. And he fought a long, hard battle. And sadly, he passed away in 2003, just before Christmas. And as a result, I elected to run the London Marathon. I know I don't look like a runner, I don't quite have that sort of physique. You can see I like my food, I like my drink. But I put myself down to run the London Marathon, and lo and behold, I got in on the ballot system. Not for charity, I got in on the ballot system to run the marathon in 2005. So I ran the marathon, trained for it, not being a runner, it was bloody excruciating, and I went through, and I did the marathon in 5 hours, 27 minutes of absolutely grueling hell. Well, the second half was, it was a killer. Absolutely, really, really hurt. Anyway, I did it, and got the badge, and I raised money for cancer charities and the like. After the marathon, the London to Brighton takes place in June. And my youngest son, who was a Paella Fella in his own right, because he'd grown up with me cooking paella from the age of 9, also an ex-pupil from here, he basically said to me, Dad, why don't we use Paella as a fundraising vehicle for cancer charities? And I said, that's a great idea. And he said, specifically, why don't we do it at the London to Brighton bike ride, which passes through Crawley Down, Turner's Hill. So I used to live in Crawley Down. And I said, that's a fantastic idea, son. Tell you what, we're going to go up. I'll go up to the Crown at Turner's Hill, speak to Phil, the landlord. I'm going to have a chat with him and see if he'd let us cook Paella on the London to Brighton bike ride. Because if you've ever been up there, does anyone know the pub up the Crown, Turner's Hill? Yeah. I'm sure you do. Good man. All right. So on the London to Brighton bike ride, 9 o'clock in the morning, the place is packed. By midday, the place is so rammed, it's unbelievable. Anyway, so we rocked up there on this particular year, 2005, June 2005. We didn't really know what we were doing. I had 2 different sized paella pans. I had one about this big, sort of 20 portions, and one slightly smaller, 15 portions. Had the stands and the burners. And we rocked up with a massive pile of chicken, all packaged up, and we just piled it up and sat there. And we sat there cutting it up, cutting up the vegetables, trying to prep this slow prep food as quickly as possible. And as soon as it was cooked, everyone went boom, and it's gone out of the pan. Now, bear in mind we're trying to do it quickly and efficiently and raise money for charity. I was really emotionally stretched at that stage. I was a bit like Gordon Ramsay. I was effing and jeffing and nothing was going right. The landlord was going, you can't leave that pile of chicken there. Look, the sun's beating down on it. I'm going, of course we can. That's what we do down on the campsite. There's no hygiene. We didn't care. We were just doing it. Yeah? And so we did it. It was very stressful. It was emotional for me because of my brother. And I went out there and we made, I think, about 250, 300 quid in the end. And we went, whew, well, it's okay. And it was successful enough for Phil, the landlord, to say, tell you what, come back next year. We'd like to come back. So we did. And we did it for someone else's charity then. And we did it for a few years like that. And I'm still in my IT sales career. My IT sales career has taken off at this stage. I'm in my late 20s, early 30s actually, sorry. And I've got enough money behind me, so each year I kept buying more equipment, doing things slightly different, getting a bit more clued up on it. And we, down the campsite in the years before, we'd always joked, wouldn't it be nice to have a business that does this, eh? Wouldn't it be great fun? Yeah, it would be great fun, but that was a pipe dream. Right. Back to the time we're doing it in London and Brighton, it builds and it builds and it builds. And after doing it for a few years for cancer charity, Phil, the landlord, said, why don't you stop doing it for charity and get your money back? Right. Get your money back. So I did. And I planned for a couple of years, I managed to hit the sweet spot on how the numbers fell, how the cyclists come through, because you've literally got a window that runs from about 9 in the morning till about 2:33 in the afternoon when the last cyclists go through to feed everyone. And I ended up getting it right, and I ended up earning lots of cash, and I ended up with a shoebox of cash from an old pair of Reebok trainers. I only threw it out a few years ago. And that had about £5,000–6,000 in it. And that paid for some nice meals out, a couple of weekend breaks here and there, and it sat there in that box for about a year or so, and I was going, crying out loud, what do I do with it? Now, when you go out to work, you have to pay taxes, and if you have come across money like that, you have to declare that money as taxable. And I thought, do you know what, I don't want to put that into my bank account because I then have to declare it. Now, I'm not trying to be dodgy or anything like that at all, but the purpose of that money was not for me to earn to pay taxes. So I set up Paella Fella as a limited company. Now, over the years, people have been jokingly calling me Paella Fella, right? And I thought it was a stupid name to begin with. Paella Fella's a bit joking, no one can take you seriously. And then a friend of mine in marketing literally grabbed hold of me by the scruff of the neck and went, don't be so bloody stupid. Paella Fella's a brilliant name. So I looked online, and the domain was free. paellafella.co.uk, paellafella.com. I looked at Companies House, no one had registered anything like that. So I registered it, and I registered the intellectual property for it. That means I've registered the trademark as well. And I basically staffed it all up very quickly, put the money in the bank, and that was it. That was on the 23rd of September 2009, it became a legal entity. Right? I was still working in IT sales. My career in IT sales was selling, at that stage, was selling big ticket enterprise software. That's none of this small stuff, none of the stuff you use like that. That's big number crunching software systems that big companies use, yeah? And it would earn anything, it would cost anything from 100,000 to 200 or £1 million were the sort of deals that I was doing, okay? And it was taking me all over the world. And I was paid very well doing that, okay? Now, it came to the end of 2010, and my IT sales career, because there was a massive recession on worldwide, my IT sales career took a bit of a nosedive. And I was fed up with it. I've been doing it for 28, 29 years. I was absolutely fed up working for someone else and trying to be an entrepreneurial salesman. And my partner at the time, she said, why don't you give Paella Fella a go? What have you got to lose? You've nothing to lose. Give it a go. So I said, fair enough, all right. I've got that bit of money behind me. And I quit the IT sales life, basically. And I jumped ship. And I set up Paella Fella in anger at the beginning in March 2011. And in that first year, we traded, doing some events. I turned over £30,000, right? Which is not a massive amount of money, but reasonable for a first year's trading from a cold start. Last year, end of the last financial year, we turned over £330,000, which in 7 years is quite a rapid growth. And we did something like 165 parties last year, some 40, 50 weddings.